Welcome to Industrial PLC Applications. This video is the first in a series of videos on creating a project and program within Connected Components Workbench. Let's begin by creating a new project in Connected Components Workbench. It's a straightforward procedure. You're going to go to the top on the menu bar and you're going to hit File and select New. You can also use Control-N if you're a keystroke junkie like I am, and give it an appropriate name. In this case, I'm just going to do it in my first program. Now below is a place where the particular program will be saved. There is a setting within the program to change the directory, the default directory. I've set up a directory specifically for it so it's quicker and easier for me to find on a different drive. So when you hit create, it'll think about it for a minute and it's going to give you a selection to, well, what are you adding into your project? And you can see you can add drives, motor starters, safety equipment, and the thing we're going to concentrate on, of course, is the PLC itself. Now the Connected Components Workbench is for the Micro 800 series of processors. If you're working with an 850, they have the L50E, the newer one, and the LC50 for older ones, some of them have been discontinued. But if you take the LC50, it does give you the option to use the simulator that's embedded or with the installation of Connected Components Workbench. It's a separate application that runs in the background and communicates with the software so you can run a test program through the simulator. So I'm going to select the L50C24QBB, and it gives me a notification that that particular product has been discontinued. So this might be for an older project. I'm going to hit select and add to project. And you get a blank sheet or blank project. It comes with two tabs at the top. First is the start where you came from, and then the actual process that you're using. This particular version has defaulted to the 24QBB. If I was using the simulator, the image would be different. It would look like the simulator. If I had extra modules to add, I could do that at this point. We're just going to start with the very core. We're going to add a ladder logic program to our project. So you go over where it says programs and you right click and you hit add, and then there's three different styles of programming. There's what they call structured text, there's ladder logic or ladder diagram, and there's a function block diagram. So I'm going to hit ladder logic. It's most commonly used by electricians, and it's got an unimaginative name called prog1. If I want to identify it with a better name, right click on it, go rename, and you can give it any name you want, but you must not have a space. And just to be clear, a project has multiple programs in it. A program does not have any projects in it. So the project is the hierarchical larger item, and the rationale for that is quite simple. If I was doing a standalone piece of equipment, my PLC processor is only one portion of it. There could be a variable frequency drive, there could be a panel view or an HMI, a human machine interface. So you can add those to the Connected Components Workbench to expand your project. And at this point we're just working on a program. So I'm going to double click on my first program, and it doesn't look like much because it's an empty rung of logic. But at this point the program has been created. Now when you go to save it, you have a couple of options. if you're going to only ever use the one laptop, you're never going to be working with somebody else or sharing, working as a team, then you can simply hit the Save or Control S. And it is going to create, on the directory, it's going to create your My First Program folder, and in that folder it's going to create what they call a CWSLN. I call it a SLN file. That file has all the data that relates to this project, but it's not complete, because within the file folder that SLN resides has all the information about the PLC, the I/O that's being used, the variables, all the rest of it. So if I hit Control Save, my program's saved and I'm good. Now, if I am working with somebody else, or if I want someone to review it, to approve it, and then send it back to me for that it's been approved, they have to have the Connected Component Workbench software, but they also need this to be exported. And when you export it, it's going to create a CCW ARC file. And that's a compression file that takes all of that other information and boils it down to one simple small file. And when you open it up through and import it through Connected Component Workbench, all of that information is restored. So I just kind of press cancel. So that's all there is to starting a program and a project. What we're going to do in the next video is actually start to build our first program. In our next video, part 2, we're going to be expanding our knowledge and inserting some rungs of logic.